Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another James and Jay Dissect. Today, obviously, from the title screen, we are dissecting Season 9, Rick Grimes' last episodes in The Walking Dead show. Let's just throw that out there, because sometimes people who are advertising for the show will lead you on a little bit, thinking that he's going to be killed off. Who does that? Anyway, before we jump on in, we're still raising money towards charity right now, which is the Humane Society. If you guys can donate, there are links down below. Help us reach our second level there. If you guys can't help out, we understand that, especially with the holidays coming up. I figured we were just talking about the holidays not too long ago, but they're already on their way. Money's gonna get tight. We understand that. We can do help us out. Just like, subscribe, and follow us on all the social medias: Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and click on the little bell icon to get notifications on when those videos are available for you. Other than that, damn. Already here. It's not even the mid-season yet. We were just talking about that, but it feels so much weight in this season so far. James, where do you really want to begin on this?
Oh man, so we've taken a little hiatus, but we could have come back a couple weeks ago, but Jay and I made a decision to wait until after Rick Grimes' final episode because it just made sense. And again. You got the spoiling sites out there. You want to give them credit for anybody who logs on to those sites. You want to give credit to all the YouTubers who, regurgitate what the spoiler sites say. It's very hard to avoid spoilers. It's very hard to, if you watch YouTube, it's very hard, especially if you subscribe to certain channels. There's nothing against it. Whatever floats people's boats. Me personally, I did not want this to be spoiled. Like, I did not want. Actually, Carl Grimes wasn't spoiled for us because he reached out to the main spoiling site and said to them, hey, look, I don't want you guys to spoil this this big moment for me. But that was good, and I personally, I've been watching this since the beginning, and I kind of wanted this big moment. I didn't want this to be spoiled for me, so I had to avoid YouTube. I had to avoid all these different damn things. But I tell you what, Jace hit it right on the head. Rick Grimes' last episode is, it's almost like they pulled another fast one. This was Gimple's idea.
Yeah, this is Gimple written all over it.
This is all Gimple. This was a big market employ. If anything, I think that this is the only disappointment I have is that, again, they're placating to the fans. The Glenn fake out death, the season 6 finale, the cliffhanger in there, and now this. Sure, it's a bigger moment because, it's opening up the doors to a bigger Walking Dead television universe, and of course, we'll get into Rick Grimes not dying, but it's why are you deceiving?
Yeah, right. Isn't it learned the first time? Like, imagine if like right before Glenn's hiding underneath the garbage, they're like, Glenn Reed's last.
Yeah,
episode. In Alexandria or something like that, just like his last time here, his last time there. It's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, quit playing with us, man. That's not fun.
Yeah, it takes away from the moment, in my opinion. But the season now, after season 6, they hit such a low that now, like, their episodes are only topping out at 6-7 million, not even 6 million. Some of them are 4. So they're still trying to.
Their season 1.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, and it's actually a shame because Angela Kang has done a marvelous job with the mess that Scott Gimple left her. Mm-hmm. She has done a I think this is one of my favorite seasons. I said that I'm going to stand by it. Every episode has almost been like kind of like a pendulum mid-season finale type of episode. You got a mid-season season finale episode in 5. Mm-hmm. You got a huge episode in episode 1 that reminded me of season 6. You got great acting performances by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, by Lauren Cohen. You got an incredible uh, Swan Song by Andrew Lincoln. You got John Bernthal, who came back, incredible. You got the last acting performance from Scott Green, and not Scott Green. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Scott Wilson. I'm mixing him up with Maggie Green. You got Scott Wilson's final acting performance ever, before he tragically passed away, battled with leukemia. And I was so glad to see that. You got to see, Sasha come back. You got to see all these. I mean, but the fabulous performances that Andrew Lincoln put on. Jeffrey Dean Morgan throughout this season, him talking to Denai Garcia. It's just an unbelievable artistic season, and it's following up 2 very weak seasons. And I think that the viewership doesn't do it justice. I just really have enjoyed this season. And again, just looking at, I've watched episode 5 now, like 6. I told Jay 6 times. Just got to finish watching it again, and it's just one of my favorite episodes ever. And it's just like, why would you play with the fans the way you did? Because now you're gonna have, here we go again. We can't trust anything these guys are saying.
Now that like the ones that are true fans have a sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah.
Those that came back are like,
here we go.
Stupid, because I thought he was gonna be dying, and it's just a marketing ploy for the movies. Great, thanks.
Yeah.
And like I think we were talking about, like, Andrew. The actor obviously wants to spend time with his real family.
Yes.
And, this makes sense where I'm assuming that the helicopter will be taking him and, of all people, Anne/Jadis. Probably to London, because she's from that area as well.
She sure is.
So, I think half the cast is. So,
Pollyanna McIntosh. Yes, she is.
Might as well take half the cast back to London where their home is. Somehow Morgan's going to walk over there, too.
Yeah, no.
I ran, I took a boat, I jumped on a dolphin, I made things work. But yeah, I agree with James. This is definitely an improvement over 7-8. I think there's been some misses, but it hasn't been. They've been few and far between, and they've been minor, little things.
Yes, and you look back and you see episode 1, and you got. You kind of looking at how all the communities are getting together. There's a couple of plot holes that I think The Walking Dead are trying to fill slowly but surely. Obviously, if you watch episode 1 through 5, we're really going to focus on Rick Grimes' last episode. Just a recap of what we thought on 1 through 4. Like I said, you kind of getting, you're starting to you see Oceanside, Jay's favorite group of all time. They still really don't have a point in this show, and they try to kind of like, Angela Khan did a great job with this mess that Gimple created. We're trying to give them some sort of substance. They got back at the Saviors in their own diabolical way. She tried to tie up the loose end with Heath. Now we know Jadis may be responsible for Heath's disappearance. She tied up the helicopter, and she tied that into Rick seeing the helicopter. We'll get into Easter eggs and all that other stuff, but let's focus on that episode 5. Jay, what did you think when you first saw it? The first scene of episode 5.
Oh no, I did enjoy it. I think the extra character scenes, like I do love that Negan scene, but I wish that was placed in the episode before that, just because I want this just to be about Rick.
Me too.
I think that shook us out too much, and there's supposed to be so much more emotion in there, but we couldn't focus on it because the only thing we think about is, well, what's Rick doing? I think that could have been changed. There's some other small scenes in there, like where Maggie killed the walker. I think that was filler. They could have not done that.
Yeah.
That's small stuff.
Yeah.
It isn't like they walked and found the new civilization on Rick's last day or something. But I thought it was great up until like the last few moments, because I thought Rick was gonna die, and
me too.
And I was like, no, they wouldn't do that. And then like big explosion, and then everyone's just like, no, and it's like he could still be alive.
Yeah.
Like I knew that, because if you don't see someone die in The Walking Dead, you're not dead.
They're not dead. Yeah.
But then to have him like wash up on shore over there in Jadis, and then put him inside of a helicopter which has all the
Yeah.
medical supplies inside of it.
Yep.
I was like, ugh. That left me
It
with
was, that's a Jocelyn moment right
yeah.
there.
Like
I
I
mean,
wanted him to like if he's gonna go out like walk towards like the walkers getting bit and torn up, and then like the Dynamite himself, and then go.
yeah.
You know, I was like, he couldn't have gone like that. That just felt. They could have done it differently, I guess.
Yeah. I think that they had to make it they had to dramatize it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I kind of look past a lot of the Jocelyn moments.
Yeah.
First of all, if you get, he's impaled on a rhubarb.
Oh yeah, that like have like 3 zombies try to tackle him or something,
Yeah.
you know, and then have him push it onto the rebar and not
Yeah.
have like a horse freak out. It's like
Yeah, that was kind of, I didn't like how he fell on the rebar, but
yeah.
you look at it and they had to dramatize it a little bit. So when you looked at him pull himself off, you really were like, all right, okay, he used the belt, so that was a good idea for him, to use the belt instead of just pulling himself straight off. The walkers seemed a lot closer at the end of episode 4 than they did at the beginning of 5. They seemed a lot further back.
Yeah, they do that too sometimes.
Like he really didn't have a chance to survive if they were that close. He would have been torn apart.
Yeah.
But again, you have to dramatize it for us to watch episode 5, and just really watching, his acting performance after that. He's going in and out of consciousness. We all knew as soon as I said to my wife, I said, they're stressing helicopters too much, and big Easter egg here is Rick in the first episode, he saw the helicopter, and then in episode 2, he was telling, Morales, he told Glenn, he told all the people that were stuck in that building, hey, look, I saw I was chasing a helicopter. They call him Helicopter Boy. And that's been a very big theme throughout season, 7, 8, and now 9 to bring it back to the helicopter part. And I tell you what, I think Angela Kong tied those pieces together, and she didn't drop the ball there. So
yeah.
having the helicopter part and then seeing how the crows turn into helicopters, I instantly said something's going to happen with the helicopter. They're going to tie this together. I didn't see him dying. I didn't see him not dying and going to the helicopter, but I really thought the helicopter would, maybe play some sort of a big part. Maybe Jada saw him and she tried to save him. I don't know, but I just knew that they were going to incorporate helicopters into this episode. So big Easter egg there. Another big Easter egg is he got impaled on the same side he got shot.
Yeah.
You heard Morgan's voice throughout. What's your wound?
Yeah, they had quite a few different characters come back and mention that.
Yep. Just big. Another Easter egg that I saw in the episode was the Cardell mailbox, and they explained that on Talking Dead was Chili Billy Cardell. He was the announcer in the original Night of the Living Dead. He was the news reporter who was explaining why the zombie outbreak was going on. And also his daughter, Sarah Cardell, Lori Cardell, I'm sorry, and she played Sarah in Day of the Dead, and actually that's another Easter egg. Lori, and I actually saw this, I looked back, and another YouTuber did mention this. Lori Cardell, she escaped as Sarah, she escaped on a helicopter at the end of Day of the Dead. Could have been a connection there with helicopters escape. But they did say in the Talking Dead it was just a shout out to Chili Billy Cardell and his involvement of Night of the Living Dead. So, you have a bunch of different Easter eggs there. A zombie movie fan really appreciated that. So,
So speaking of like the flashbacks and everything,
mm-hmm.
What were your feelings as far as overall presentation of that? Do you think something was missing? Did you not like a particular one, or?
Oh man, I think that the obvious one that was missing was Carl, and it just shows you that they screwed up their relationship with Chandler Riggs and his family. There's no way you don't have Carl Grimes in Rick's, flashbacks, or there's no way you don't have Carl Grimes in Rick's hallucinations. Carl Grimes is the reason why he was fighting. So to not have him in there spoke more of outside of the show than it did, you know what I'm saying? It spoke about how they did Chandler Riggs at the end and how they just killed him off. I think it left a sour taste in his mouth. Not seeing Glenn Rhee, Stephen Young, not seeing him, not seeing even Lori Grimes, Sarah Callens Wayne. I mean, not seeing her in the flashback. I did appreciate Herschel. I did appreciate Shane. Sasha, I'm like, why is Sasha so important compared to these other, dynamic characters? So it was like, I love seeing Sasha, but I just think that all in all, I think that it just showed more of, it really showed more of the broken relationship between Chandler Riggs and the show.
I mean, think about, like, with all the dead bodies there, who better to be there than to have Carl stand up?
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
and even if they brought back the governor, David Morrissey, I mean, he was such an iconic part of the show as well. I mean, he was the ultra villain for Rick. He almost killed Rick. To have him come back, he came back when Tyrese died. And for them not to bring him back was like, it said something too. I really think that he would have made the episode even better as just having that antagonistic, point of view. So, I mean, they did a good job, but they could have done more. Like, instead of having, Maggie Reed talk to Negan and Maggie Reed bust a zombie skull in with a crowbar, they could have filled one more, flashback of, Maggie, not Maggie, I'm sorry, of the governor, or even Beth Green, or somebody.
Well, imagine having Lori and Carl there.
Yes.
Imagine how much that weight would be, like,
hey, man,
come find us, like, that's his family. And
how about Merle? Why didn't they bring back Merle? I mean, he's on the Talking Dead. I mean, they could have even brought him back and be like, hey, Officer Friendly. Why, if they're calling him back to season 1, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they could have done a lot of different things. I agree with Jay that they put too many fillers in there that they could have replaced with iconic characters. But it is what it is. I still like the episode. Like I said, it's one of my favorite ones. I love how, at the end, you see all the community come together at the end and try to, wake Rick up, and, and then the devastation on Daryl's face and Michonne, and how they have to move forward. And a big thing that they're doing moving forward is moving way forward.
Yeah. It's another time jump.
Big time. Biggest time jump we've had.
And I believe Melissa McBride kind of spelled it 6 years.
6 years.
I think she said. Do you think that's too soon since we just came off of a time jump?
I think this whole season was going to be a time jump. I don't think it was too soon. I think that Andrew Lincoln kind of forced their hand by saying, hey, look, I don't want to come in. This gives them a lot to fill in the gaps. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this is all Gimple, so this gives them a lot, and it makes it like, all right, so if you have one time jump and Rick and Andrew Lincoln didn't want to come back, and then you had didn't want to come back, but if you had one time jump and Andrew Lincoln said, hey, look, I am going to stay for this season. Don't worry about killing me off or making a movie out of it. And then you had a 6-year time jump. That's stupid. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you have a 6-year time jump after Andrew Lincoln, is presumably dead or you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I kind of get it. It kind of shows the communities had to work together somehow. So we'll get to see, but I appreciate them going right to Judith Grimes, and it's just that's big. So
that should be Carl's job, though, right there. That should be Carl leading everything.
I know, and now Henry's 6 years older, so he's taking over. I didn't like that at all. I don't like how they're just they're giving Carl Grimes to Henry.
That ain't right, man. That ain't right.
So, Melissa McBride, she has the Lord of the Rings look there.
Yeah, right.
She's got the bow and arrow. And then on top of all this, you got Daryl's gonna have to live with the fact that him and Maggie may have been, in his mind, might be responsible for Rick's death.
Yep.
You got Michonne, who now has to lead a community without her lover. She looks like she's going back to being cold-hearted. You got the possible reveal of the next villain. You got so many things going on, man. It's just, I think when you come back to episode 6, and what I like about it is we don't have to wait 3 months.
Yeah, because like I said, it feels like the mid-season, but it's not. We're just gonna pick right up. So that's weird. And also, I have to bring up that this was Maggie's, Lauren Cohan's last episode until decided this could be it for her.
Correct.
But she's definitely done for at least this first half of the season, and I think they've already begun shooting the second half.
Yep.
So we probably won't see her for quite some time either.
Yeah, and then we don't know what happened to her. So we don't know if they're just going to say, oh, she left. They kind of been teasing that she's going to go off with that lady Georgie and probably what we call in the Commonwealth. But I really believe that, again, you gotta do right by your actors and actresses. And I think Scott Gimple left such a bad taste in these actors and actresses' mouths that it made it hard for them, like Andrew Lincoln, it made it hard for him to be away from his family. Yeah. He pushed Lauren Cohan so she could sign on with another TV show. So they basically had to say to her, at least give us 4 or 5 episodes so we can leave your character open-ended. You screwed up with Heath a little bit there. Like, you didn't give him the contract before he went on his, the new 24 show. You screwed up with Carl Grimes. So Angela Kang is taking this huge fucking mess, and she's like, what am I going to do with this? And I think she's done a great job, man, because think about the mess that she inherited. Like, holy shit.
I hope they shrink it a bit. I know it's tough because now the groups are so divided, but we know, like, they're missing, like, what's going on with Dwight? Is he even still going to be around? Or
Agreed.
He was a big character in the comics.
He's a huge character. Emilio Estevez, he just... I just really think that they got so many plot holes, and Angela Kang is trying her hardest to fill these plot holes. Yeah. And you got to give her credit.
Man, I do agree. Just to touch back on your point there with the actors. I mean, you can hear, like, with Beth Green, she thought that she was going to be signed on for a couple more years, and she's bought a house, and they're like, oh, we're killing you off.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? I'd appreciate a heads up or something before, I change my entire life.
Same thing with Andrea. She said the same thing. She said, I was originally supposed to be with Rick Grimes, and then all of a sudden they took a different direction. It's hard when Robert Kirkman wants it to be different. But again, as we talked about it many times before, if you want something to be different from the comics, you should just make a bunch of spinoffs. Yeah. Don't call this The Walking Dead and base it upon the comics. Just call it Fear the Walking Dead or something else. You know what I'm saying? But, I like the way they remix things, but it gets a little wacky, going
it's a
back.
remix. It's not a new song.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you nailed it there. Yeah, you can change some things. Like, Andrew dying, that sucks.
Yeah.
But
it's getting a little wonky. It's going all over the damn place. A lot of people ask me about Easter eggs. I made a promise that I would talk about Easter eggs.
There's so many in this.
So many Easter eggs. A big Easter egg here was we just talked about it. Space Junk is the first ever song, other than the title song, that was played multiple times at the end of an episode. So Space Junk was played by Wang Chung, I think his name is, and they played in the at the end of episode 1, the pilot. Mm-hmm. And obviously it played in Rick's going away party. And another big Easter egg was, Shane and Rick talking. They just had a big discussion. Shane said something very, it's not even an Easter egg, but it's a very good point. It wasn't Glenn saving Rick from the tank that caused this whole thing. It was the incorrect call from Kings
Dispatch
County.
there, yeah.
That changed everything.
Can you imagine that? Something so
Two
small.
men, something insignificant. And remember, Daryl had just said to Rick, if it wasn't for Glenn, no, if it wasn't for an incorrect dispatch call, where would Shane and Rick be? They'd be with the group. You know what I'm saying? So it would be no conflict there. And the show would be completely different. It sealed everybody's fate. An incorrect call. That's how Rick got shot. That's how Shane and Lori hooked up. Shane and Lori don't hook up if Rick is still alive. It just doesn't happen.
They might have stuck around and been killed. Maybe Rick convinced them to stay in town and they get taken out. Because Rick doesn't want to leave a shift position or something.
Even better yet, what if they went back to camp? Remember, Daryl Dixon and Merle had a plan to rob the camp and escape.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So his plans fell through, but everything happens for a reason. And Shane was basically saying you're beating yourself up, but things happen the way they were supposed to happen. Easter eggs, they were eating the same hamburger french fry meal, which was really great. They recreated that scene. Scott Wilson, he was Scott Wilson before he grew the beard. He was the Scott Wilson at the farm. Same moment where they looked out and seen the Green family farm. That was huge. Easter egg when Rick is standing on the dead bodies. That's a variant cover to issue. I think it was 127, where Rick is standing on all the dead bodies. On the comic book cover, that was pretty creative. Huge. This is the first time, and this kind of was like a hint. What I looked at, and I determined myself, when the horse escaped with his life. This is the first time that we didn't see a horse get absolutely mauled.
I was just waiting for that horse to die. I was like, oh, that's more horses.
But guess what? That was a hint that the horse made it, so Rick was going to make it, because they kill horses all the time. So when the horse survived, you knew Rick was going to survive. There's no way a horse can survive in The Walking Dead. No way. So, just a lot of different, things that I saw in the episode. Rick Grimes, they had a lot of callback moments, with in the episode before with Daryl and Rick, when Daryl said, exactly what this is. When they were on a motorcycle, that was an Easter egg to Rick and Shane's final confrontation. It's just a lot of different things, man. I really appreciated these last two episodes more, but I'll probably, after we get off here, I'm gonna probably watch the episode one more time, because it's been a long time since I've gotten an episode where I want to watch it over and over again. So I think I was in for a treat, and it's refreshing. But again, like Jay said, there's so many Jocelyn moments with this episode that if you didn't like the episode, they would stand out like a sore thumb. How much blood can you lose before you die? Rick has infinite amount of blood. This guy was bleeding out. Didn't die. How can you pull yourself over without making it worse? How don't you have sepsis? How don't you have some sort of blood infection? Will we see Rick in a coma again? The "Don't Open Dead Inside" sign was the Easter egg. Instead, it said "Open Dead Outside" and had the word "Don't" crossed out. So
that was cool.
Yeah,
I did like all those throwbacks.
Yes,
that was pretty cool. Maybe how ironic would it be if he wakes up in another hospital after like a 6-year coma, or not like a 6-year coma, but like a couple-week coma or something like that, and like London.
What the hell, man? Like, why am I going to? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, but this time he's in London. Like,
I'm assuming that's where he's going, just because it's going to benefit him, because he's actually with his real family. Obviously we don't know anything, but it just makes sense that he's going to go back there, and that's where they're going to shoot these movies.
Yeah. And I think that that's a good idea, and that's to pay homage to him to say, okay, you know, we
I
want you.
mean, yeah, if they're gonna choose one person to carry these movies, I mean, might as well be the main character.
And they can't be crap movies, man. They gotta tie back into the show. You
It's a
know what I'm saying?
trilogy, yeah. I mean, do you think it's gonna give him like six,
Back.
8 years, and then it makes his way back? Do you think
Well,
it's even gonna be around by the time this trilogy's wrapped up?
um, I don't know. I don't know. We could play with that all day long
Yeah,
and give our ideas, but the only thing I could think of is him being in a coma, medically induced coma, maybe for 6 months, coming out of it, and then just having to rebuild himself. You know, Jadis being there, and him finding out he's in London. Obviously, the outbreak will be there. Him probably having to lead another group of survivors. Him trying to get back to his family. Um, that may take a couple of years, you know, just surviving, trying to get home, and then maybe I don't see how they're gonna tie it. But if they do, it'll be a voyage, and it'll be, you know, it'll take him 5-6 years to get back.
yeah,
But it depends on how much time passes after the time jump. So if another 4 years pass and he's not back, it doesn't make sense.
yeah. And you know, just thinking about it, you might not be in London. Might be shot in London, but the actual
Yeah.
place of the movies won't be in London, just because
Correct.
helicopter can't fly
Correct.
across the Atlantic.
No.
How can they transport him there?
Yeah.
So there's obviously that logistical problem. But then what's stopping him from picking up that and going to his old group? I mean, if Morgan can make it to Texas and then halfway back through to Virginia and then back to Texas and then making his way all the way back, like, why can't Rick?
I don't know how. I still don't understand how Morgan made it on foot and then in a car and on foot again and literally made it to Texas the way he did. I think that they forced that one. I really thought that maybe Rick would end up with Morgan on Fear the Walking Dead after all was said and done. Or when he announced they're doing movies, I'm like, now it's even more crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know what direction Fear the Walking Dead is going. I don't know what they're going to do with these movies. All I know is that The Walking Dead, now we're going to see what all these other actors are made of without the star. And it's really hard to carry on without your star, man. It's just proven.
Even without your second star, Lauren Cohen, she's in
Yeah,
the
man.
comics. That's your number 2 easily.
Two, and even your number 3 in Carl Grimes and Chandler Riggs. You got 3 big ones. Melissa McBride, I love her. Norman Reedus and Jeffrey Dean Morgan are gonna have to really step up. Aaron, Easter egg there. Aaron's hand is missing, just like Rick's.
And he's got the beard going on too now.
The beard going on.
And of course, Deny.
Yeah, she's got her.
But
She's got.
what's going on
I
with
mean,
her though? And if she can stick around, she's got so many big movie potential now. I mean, she might even have her own Marvel movie coming out.
I know, man.
So-
But you know what? Money talks, and I think that they're learning their lesson here. I think they played my cock is bigger than yours a little bit too much with these actors and actresses, and I think it's biting them in the ass where they have to make such drastic changes. And it's just like, even in Fear the Walking Dead with Frank Delane and everybody else over there, you can't play around with things too much. You gotta let things be organic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're taking that away. So we'll definitely see. I'm excited. I do like this season already. Way better than 7. Way better than 8. But I will put a disclaimer out here. I like the first 7 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead season 4. And I'm telling you right now, my guard is up, because the first 7 episodes I thought, you can't match this. And then they hit us with probably one of the worst mid-season finales, and then one of the worst second halves of a season I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah. We're gonna take this time jump, and now I know they're bringing the Whisperers. They're gonna at least stick to the comics somewhat, but I mean, they're bringing in a young girl, and sometimes dealing with kid actors, it's just like.
Yeah, I know. And she's gonna get older. So are we gonna have another time? Like Jay said, you can't. And now you had 2 time jumps, I kind of understand it, but I think you're pushing your luck and you're forcing it a little bit, because these kid actors, like Jay said, you've ran into that problem with Carl Grimes. Are you going to replace Judith Grimes? You're going to get everybody attached to this girl actress, and then you're going to have another time jump possibly, or you're going to have to replace her. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're going to buy that she's some badass out there. You know, she's 9 years old or something like that. And it's like, yeah.
I know. Well, we'll see, man.
I mean, you know, like I said, I have some reservations over here, but hopefully it goes well. I think Angela Kane definitely breathes some fresh air into this. Luckily,
it's refreshing.
I do like hearing her talk because she's always so honest. Like, you ask her questions and give a straight answer. Gimple, I still don't care for.
Yeah, he's got that look. He just had that arrogant, smug look on Talking Dead, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. And I think that it kind of lightened up a little bit because he knows seeing those numbers is kind of humbling to him, and knowing that he's no longer the show writer and he has to create a bigger universe to justify his existence in this universe. It's like,
I don't know, man. I don't know how you could drop those numbers in half and still have a job, much less a promotion.
In half? They're at 16 million for premieres. You know what I'm saying? Like 17 million for the season 7 premiere. That was ridiculous. You know, 17 million in 2 years. You drop down to 6. Like, that's almost a third. That's 2/3 down. You know,
I don't know how you got that job, but
you know what? I mean, it is what it is, man. We'll see if it works out for him.
I mean, like I said, best thing come so far is Angela Kane kicking ass. You know, let's have faith in her and see if you keep running with the ball. She's doing well so far. So,
and you notice that when Scott Gimple first wrote a couple of the episodes, he was a different person. If you watched Talking Dead when he came on, when he first started writing the episodes, I remember he wrote Clear. Yeah. And I remember he wrote pretty much dead already. Pretty much gone already. Or pretty much dead already. The one where the Sophia reveal. I remember he wrote that episode. He didn't talk on the Talking Dead, but when he wrote Clear, he came out and he talked on the Talking Dead, and he had energy to him. He didn't have that smug look on his face. He was kind of like, you know, he was kind of personable. And as soon as he got the showrunner gig and he started writing the episodes for season, 4, 5, and 6, and he started writing the episodes, and he started getting a little bit too comfortable. He started to become arrogant, and you started to see, look back on him, and you can see him, because you can get the Talking Dead on demand and whatever. But if you look back at how he just got a little bit arrogant to him, and it's like, wow, dude, like, you need to slow.
He could do no wrong.
Yes, he had this mentality, like, and he even said it, like, people are still going to watch the show, and, in interviews he was saying, you're going to say you're not going to watch, but then you're going to come back. Why don't you watch it? Like, he was kind of like challenging the fans, and it was like, what happened to this guy who was charismatic? Yeah. And now all of a sudden he's just conceited.
Don't the fans, man. Don't try. I don't understand that. I was like, why they keep trying to hide stuff? I was like, yeah, we want some surprises, but we don't want like these dumb surprises. Like,
yeah, again, you really have to appreciate Angela Khan. But I don't think she's gonna be like that. But
no, that was definitely come from like the top down for the commercials and everything.
Yeah, so I really believe that we're in for a treat. 6, 7, and 8 are going to be really good. I think the reveal of the Whisperers. I want to see how they transition this from the comic to the show.
I think if you put on zombie skin and blood, you're going to get sick and die.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know why they did that too with Father Gabriel.
So we'll see. They'll probably retcon that.
Yeah, I know. Another plot hole. Okay.
Yeah, guys. I mean, mostly positive. I know we've been kind of up and down here as far as positive and negatives, but it's just us with some, sour taste in our mouth from the past couple of seasons.
Listen, man, you have to have some reservations to you. Like I said, I'm the first to admit the first 7 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead, I was the biggest cheerleader for that show, and I feel like,
Yeah, like just go back to our preview, like before that
like
mid-season
God,
finale, like, oh, it's gonna be awesome, you know. But now it's like, at least they're tying up some loose ends, which we've always harped on.
yeah,
And
loose ends
hopefully we'll get
make my
smaller.
ass.
Yeah, and it's like focus on the people we actually care about before we
Yeah,
start branching off and talking to everybody else. But
it's true.
all right, guys, let's go call it before it gets too late over here.
Yep.
Thanks again for tuning in, James. Man, missed you.
Yes.
Give a shout out to your brother. Tell him congratulations again on being married.
Yep.
Hope they're doing well.
And I just and another thank you I wanted to put on camera to Jay and Kelsey for always thinking of me when they go to Walker Stalker conventions. This was the third year in a row that I couldn't make it. Childbirth, brother getting married. The first year they went, and I couldn't make it the second year because my child was born. First year my child was born.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I forgot what the hell happened.
I think
What?
the child was
Oh,
still too young.
No, yeah, it was his birthday. I couldn't make it on his birthday. It was his first birthday weekend. Can't miss that. And then, of course, my brother got married. So 3 major events have prevented me from going. But they always think of me, always get me nice stuff. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bottom of my heart, I would be there with you if people didn't want to get married on the same day that I'm supposed to go to the Walker Star.
Well, maybe next year then. We got a few more signatures.
I don't care who I'm going out on record right now. I don't care who gets married in my family. If you get married on Walker Star, I'm not coming. Okay, don't invite me. You already know in advance. 1 year notice. Don't invite me to the wedding. I'm not going. I'm not doing this anymore. Okay?
Yeah.
No. I'm not doing it.
That's
so
awesome.
if you want to get married, go ahead. I'll send you a card. I'm not. Don't send me an invite. Don't pay for a meal. Don't ask me what kind of liquor I drink. Don't talk about hotel reservations. Don't ask me if I'm bringing the baby. Don't ask about the dogs. Don't ask about anything. I'm not going. Period. End the conversation. It's not happening. On camera. You hear it.
It's official. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. If you guys can donate, there are links down below. Stay tuned. Kelsey and I, speaking of Walker Stark, we'll be doing our recap and expectations for next year and survival guide. And then hopefully next year, James will be joining us. We'll see you.
I am.
Some
I'm
people.
telling you. Nope.
I'll believe it when I see it. All right, don't be pulling a gimple saying you're going, and be like, I just said I was going. I didn't say I was going there. Yeah.
Right.
Playing wars. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us again. James, always fun talking to you, man.
You already know it, man.
Stay warm up there, and we'll see everybody sometime soon, hopefully.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.